Why does this person occupy so much space in your mind? What is so special about them? Have you ever wondered why, among so many people, this particular one seems to have taken up residence in your mind? It could be someone you've barely spoken to, an old love, or even an unrequited passion. This person seems to live inside your head without paying rent, without asking permission, simply appearing over and over again in your thoughts. But what if I told you that this wasn't mere chance, but a message from your own unconscious? According to Carl Jung, one of psychology's greatest thinkers, these obsessions are not random distractions, but deep reflections of something we need to understand about ourselves. Have you ever thought about why this person is so present in your thoughts? What is it about them that holds you so? Sometimes we think that this fixation has to do with the other person, their appearance, their manner, their attitudes. But what if it's not the other person that really gets you, but what they awaken in you? What seems like a simple whim of chance could actually be an important message from your subconscious. Jung believed that our minds don't operate randomly and that certain thought patterns carry hidden meanings. If someone occupies your mind intensely for no apparent reason, it may be that they represent something much bigger than themselves. The question is not just why this person is in your thoughts, but what they reveal about you. This doesn't necessarily mean that you're in love or obsessed. Sometimes it's a mirror of something deeper, an unfulfilled desire, a hidden fear, a quality you admire but don't believe you have. In other words, this person can be a symbol of something inside you that is asking to be recognized. Carl Jung teaches us that instead of just looking outwards, we should look inwards. Most people live on a kind of autopilot, distracted by everyday life, without noticing the signals that their own mind sends out. But when someone persistently occupies our mind, it can be an invitation to look deeper. What does this person mean to you beyond the surface? Imagine your mind as an iceberg. Everything you see on the surface, your memories, conscious thoughts and emotions, is only a small part of your psyche. But below the waterline in the vast and mysterious world of the unconscious, there are repressed desires, hidden fears, and forgotten memories. It is in this unknown ocean that the answers to questions you didn't even know you needed to ask are hidden. And maybe, just maybe, that person occupying your thoughts is a sign that the time has come to explore what lies beneath the surface. Are you ready to dive into that inner labyrinth and discover the truth? Because after all, it may be that this story was never about the other person, but about you. What goes on inside your mind may seem like a mystery, but according to Jung, there is a clear reason why certain people leave such a deep imprint on your thoughts. If someone occupies your mind insistently, perhaps they are tapping into something that you have repressed or never paid enough attention to. Think about it. Does this person represent something you'd like to be but haven't yet had the courage to explore? Or has he or she awakened an old memory, a feeling that was left unresolved in the past? None of this means that you'll be stuck with these thoughts forever. In fact, this can be an opportunity to see yourself in a new way. Jung believed that we all have a hidden part within our psyche, a part that we prefer to ignore. He called it the shadow. This shadow is made up of all the characteristics we repress, the desires we deny, the feelings we avoid. And here's the interesting thing. Often, the people who fascinate or irritate us the most are those who reflect exactly what we hide from ourselves. For example, if you feel insecure and see someone who exudes confidence, you may be attracted to them because deep down, you would like to develop that same confidence. The opposite is also true. If someone bothers you deeply, it may be because they express something you reject in yourself. Perhaps you get angry with someone who is impulsive because, deep down, you want to have more freedom, but you've been taught to always maintain control. This explains why some people leave deep scars in our minds without us knowing exactly why. They are not just ordinary individuals, they are symbols, projections of something that lives inside us. Our unconscious puts them in the spotlight because it wants us to look at what we ignore. So the next time someone dominates your thoughts, try inverting the question. Instead of asking yourself, "Why can't I stop thinking about this person?" Try asking yourself, "What does this person bring out in me?" Perhaps they are a mirror, reflecting a part of you that needs to be recognized, accepted, or worked on. Jung shows us that our relationship with others is actually a reflection of our relationship with ourselves. Everything we admire or reject in others is, in some way, part of our own psyche. And by recognizing this, you begin to transform this obsession into a path to self-knowledge. If someone persistently occupies your mind, it could be that your unconscious is trying to tell you something very important. And now the question is, are you willing to listen? If you look closely, you'll realize that this fixation is not about the other person, but about yourself. It's an invitation to explore what's hidden in our minds. And to better understand this phenomenon, we need to talk about two central concepts in Jung's theory: anima and animus. These two archetypes represent the masculine and feminine aspects of the human psyche, and they play an essential role in the way we relate to others and interpret our emotions. The anima, in men, represents their emotional, sensitive, and intuitive dimension, aspects that are often neglected due to social pressures. The animus, in women, is the rational, logical, and assertive energy, characteristics that can be repressed by the influence of culture or upbringing. But the most fascinating thing is that these archetypes are not exclusive to one gender. We all have anima and animus within us, in different proportions, regardless of how we identify ourselves. And that's where things get interesting. Often, when we feel an intense connection with someone, be it a crush or an inexplicable dislike, it may be that this person is activating our own anima or animus, in other words, a side of our psyche that has not yet been fully integrated. Think of a time when you felt completely enchanted by someone, to the point where you couldn't get them out of your head. It could be that this person represents an unconscious ideal that you have created throughout your life, a symbolic image that reflects qualities you want to develop. If you feel a strong attraction to someone who is extremely sensitive and emotional, for example, it could be a sign that your anima is trying to emerge, asking to be recognized. But it's not as simple as that. Just as we can idealize, we can also project, and projections distort reality. Have you ever found yourself seeing someone as some kind of perfect being, almost like a character in a movie? Or, on the contrary, hating someone with an intensity that doesn't even make sense? This happens because, in reality, we're not seeing the person as they really are, but as our mind wants them to be. Projection can lead to great disappointment. We create an idealized version of the other person and fall in love with that version rather than the real person. When reality doesn't live up to expectations, suffering ensues. The same happens with negative feelings. If someone irritates us deeply, it could be that they are expressing something that exists within us, but which we don't want to acknowledge. Jung said that our mind works like a movie projector, where each person who enters our life takes on a role in the script we create internally. When someone fascinates or irritates us, we are projecting onto them something that actually belongs to us. The challenge is to realize this and understand the real message behind this obsession. So, if someone won't get out of your head, ask yourself, does this person represent something I want to be, or something I'm trying to avoid within myself? This questioning can be uncomfortable, but it is essential for personal growth. And it is at this moment that a great transformation takes place. When you stop looking at others as if they were the cause of your feelings and start seeing this obsession as a reflection of your inner world, everything changes. You stop being held hostage by your thoughts and start using this experience as a tool for self-discovery. The question shouldn't be, why is this person in my mind, but rather, what is my mind trying to show me through this person? When we start to see these obsessions as messages from our unconscious rather than random distractions, everything takes on a new meaning. But what if I told you that there was something even more intriguing behind this? What if certain encounters, recurring thoughts, and seemingly absurd coincidences we're actually part of a deeper mechanism of reality. Here we enter the concept of synchronicity, one of the most fascinating in Jung's psychology. Have you ever spent days thinking about someone and suddenly they send you a message or appear out of nowhere? Have you ever had the feeling that the universe was trying to tell you something when certain events lined up in an unexpected way? Jung called this synchronicity, i.e., significant coincidences that can't be explained by chance alone. For him, these connections between the internal and external world are clues from the unconscious, indicating that something deserves our attention. The central idea of synchronicity is that our mind and the universe are not disconnected. On the contrary, our psyche interacts with the world around us in ways we don't yet fully understand. When you think obsessively about someone and suddenly they reappear in your life, it could be a sign that there is something unresolved to be resolved, a lesson that needs to be learned. But don't be fooled. This doesn't mean that you should run after them or try to force some kind of reconnection. The point here is not about the other person, but about you. These coincidences serve as an invitation to look inwards, to reflect on what is really going on in your psyche. Ask yourself, why is this person appearing now? What does this say about my emotional journey? What pattern am I repeating without realizing it? Often, the mind creates narratives to justify these recurring encounters and thoughts, but the real answer lies in what the experience awakens in you. It could be a call to resolve something from the past, to recognize a personality trait you've neglected, or even to let go of an illusion that is holding you back. The big issue is that until you understand the message, your unconscious will continue to find ways to get your attention. Jung said that until you become conscious of the unconscious, it will direct your life and you will call it destiny. This means that if you continue to ignore the patterns and signs that emerge, you will be doomed to repeat the same situations over and over again. But when you choose to pay attention and investigate what these obsessive thoughts mean, you take control of your mind and consequently, your life. So instead of asking yourself, why can't I stop thinking about this person? Try rephrasing your approach. What is my mind trying to teach me with this? This change of perspective is liberating because it puts the power back in your hands. It's not about trying to forget someone by force or fighting against their thoughts, but about understanding their origin and purpose. And here's the most important part. Introspection without action changes nothing. It's great to reflect and understand the mechanisms of the mind, but the real growth comes when you apply this knowledge to your life. If this obsession has revealed insecurities that need to be worked on, then seek to strengthen them. If it has shown you repressed desires, perhaps it's time to explore them. If it has indicated a pattern of idealization, learn to see people as they really are, and not as you want them to be. The process of self-knowledge can be uncomfortable, but it's also incredibly liberating, because at the end of the day, this fixation has never been about the other person. It's always been about you, about your projections, your fears, your hidden desires, and what your mind has been trying to show you for ages. The question is, now that you know this, what are you going to do with this information? You've already understood that this fixation isn't just about the other person, but about what they represent within you. You've realized that your mind is trying to show you something, whether it's a repressed desire, an unresolved insecurity, or an unconscious pattern that needs to be broken. But understanding is only the first step. What really makes the difference is what you choose to do with that understanding. Jung teaches us that true transformation happens when we bring to consciousness what was hidden in the unconscious. This means that just reflecting is not enough. You have to act. So how can we transform this obsession into personal growth? How can we stop being held hostage by our own thoughts and start using them as a tool for evolution? The first step is acceptance. Instead of fighting these thoughts and trying to repress them, accept that they are there for a reason. Allow yourself to feel them without judgment, without rushing to get rid of them. Every thought, every emotion is a messenger carrying valuable information. And the only way to truly move on is to first accept the reality of what is happening inside you. Then, comes the investigation. Now that you know that this person represents something within you, dig deeper, grab a notebook and write down, what exactly is it about this person that holds me back so much? List all the qualities you admire, all the things that bother you, all the feelings that arise when you think of them. Then, for each item on the list, ask yourself, does this reflect something inside me? Perhaps you'll discover that this person represents a version of you that you want to be, or that they express something you've always wanted but never had the courage to admit. But don't stop at theory. The next step is action. If this person fascinates you because they have a self-confidence that you wish you had, start working on that confidence in yourself. If they bother you because they seem free and detached, ask yourself, what's stopping me from living this way? Instead of looking at the other person as if they were a mystery that needed to be solved, start seeing yourself as the real protagonist in this story. And finally comes liberation. When you understand that this obsession is just a reflection of your own internal world, you realize that you never needed this person to be complete. You don't need them to admire you, validate you, or love you in order to find value in yourself, because everything that attracts you about them already exists within you. You just need to develop and integrate it. And everything that irritates you about her is a reminder of something that still needs to be worked on. And here's the great truth. When you learn to see yourself clearly, the other person loses their power over you. You stop projecting unrealistic expectations and start seeing people as they really are. You stop dwelling on the past or what could have been and start focusing on what really matters, what you want for yourself from now on. And that's what I want to leave you with as a final reflection. What can this experience teach you? What can you do now to turn this obsession into growth? The answer is already inside you, and it's up to you to accept it. Now I want to know, did this reflection make sense to you? At any point in the video, did you recognize yourself in something that was said? If so, share your experience in the comments. Sometimes putting our thoughts into words helps us to see everything more clearly. And maybe your story can help someone going through the same situation. And if you want to continue exploring the mysteries of the human mind, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Here, we're always bringing deep reflections to help you understand more about yourself. So come with me on this journey of self-knowledge. See you in the next video.